bringing in deer that are just like nasty, right? And you guys got to turn away. How many do you think in a season you got to turn away?
Not very many that we have to completely turn away. I think maybe we threw away 3 last year.
It all depends on the year. So like them hot early seasons, a lot of spoiled ones.
Or like now.
Yeah. Well, they're like, oh, I got it hanging in a tree. Okay, cool. That doesn't mean that's in a cooler.
Yeah.
It's 70 degrees out. You can't hang it in a tree.
Someone called me 10 minutes ago. He shot the deer yesterday morning, and he hadn't brought it in. Well, and it's okay. He said it's okay because it's in my garage. And I was like, it was hot today. Like, you need to bring it right now and make sure you let us know that it's been hanging in your garage for over 24 hours.
There's this misconception that if it's hanging, it's okay. Well, hanging in anything over 41 degrees is spoiling. So I really think that people need to take a food handling class before they even go in the woods, because there's so many deer that are just wasted from absolute negligence. And then they bring it and they're like, here, deal with the rest of the crap that we neglected for the last couple days because it's been hanging in a tree or in my garage. It's cool. It's in a real cool barn, and I covered it in straw, so it's okay.
Ew.
Well, you said 41 degrees. That's awful specific, because like I always had the number like 50 in my head.
Yep. So anything over 41 degrees breeds bacteria. That's the food code in all the United States as far as what the restaurants and everything have to adhere to. So anything technically 4 hours over 41 degrees is at a bacteria level that is too high to eat. That's going to give you food poisoning.
No bueno.
No good. So it's very adamant that people get it right to the cooler and then right chilled down.
I just keep thinking of that antelope because it was like 20s at night.
Well,
but that son of a bitch was hanging in some cheesecloth, and it was like 80 degrees.
So moisture takes a role in that too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little gray area for people that know what the hell they're doing, but if you don't know what you're doing, don't fuck with it.
Well, I mean, when it creates that rind, that kind of helps a little bit, yeah?
Right. And
so skin on, skin off, that makes a big difference too.
Yeah, and there's, when you first kill that animal, you got a lot of leeway too, because all that body heat is escaping. But, you need to get them guts out right away. Otherwise, they just sit there and boil inside of it. So if you get the guts out, you do have a little bit of leeway on being able to get that thing cooled down, because that body temperature has to, expel all the heat, and then you can start cooling. So you definitely have quite a bit more than 4 hours.
So as far as the aging process, would you say it'd be better to quarter and throw in the fridge? Like I got one in there right now.
Yep. I mean, as far as deer is concerned, usually dry aging, you have to have a fat covering around the whole thing to protect the meat, where deer is a lot leaner of a product. Some people tell me that they can taste a heck of a lot of a difference, but being that lean of a meat, you don't have a lot of that fat to break down, like a cow. A cow can hang for a month because it's got that huge fat covering around all the quarters and everything.
And it's a lot different, too. It's not like the tallow on a deer, right?
Right. Where you're going to cut every last bit of that tallow off of a deer. Like a cow, you leave it on.
Right.
But there's definitely a huge difference in the cattle. If you cut up a cow after a week, or if you cut up a cow at 30 days, there is a ridiculous difference in tenderness and flavor. I don't see that as predominant in a venison or wild game side of things, because you're losing a ton of yield on that if you let that thing hang and turn into a piece of jerky.
Right, because when you get that rind, I mean, a lot of times it's a quarter inch or more.
Right.
That's why I always left the hide on mine before we started hanging out, and it's such a pain in the ass to take that hide off after
It's like concrete, dude.
4 or 5 days.
Yeah, if I was gonna hang a deer, that hide would stay on it, because you're protecting all of that meat on the outside, because once you start taking a quarter, half inch off of the entire deer, that's a significant amount of meat.
Yeah, you lose a quarter of the meat when you do that. I mean...
Right.
if you shoot a deer that's got 40 pounds of meat, 110-pound buck, yearling, 30, 40 pounds, you start taking a quarter inch off, you're losing 5-10 pounds of meat. That's a quarter of what you're putting in the freezer.
Well, think about that antelope. I lost a shit ton of meat because there was windy too. Yeah, I keep forgetting we got that fridge. It's so fancy.
Oh, thank you.
But by the time I got that thing home and started doing all the butchering, I lost so much meat it was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. What loses a lot of meat? We should talk about buttholes.
Let's talk about buttholes.
We should talk about buttholes.
I love buttholes.
They dirty, nasty things.
When everyone leaves the butthole in, and we have to clean the butthole out, that's a $5 butthole surcharge.
I'd make it 10.
That's it.
Well,
I said that too. We should raise the butthole.
Because of inflation. We were going to inflate the buttholes.
We're going to inflate the buttholes. We thought about getting people a shirt that said, I let Clearwater Meats clean out my butthole or something like that. You get a free shirt if you leave the butthole in.
Clearwater clean my butthole.
Yeah.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant.
Oh, yeah. So, anyway, that leaving that butthole and the bladder and everything in there, that turns instantly. Mm-hmm. Everything will turn green right in there, and then that starts spreading right in them hindquarters.
And the butthole, not so much, but the bladder isn't. I feel like an easy thing to accidentally leave in there.
You know what makes me really happy is when we're getting to the point where we're about to cut it, and you split them hindquarters, and there's this blue sack of piss in it. Oh my gosh! And you have to sit there and
do not
precision
pop it.
cut it out, and oh my
worst.
gosh, if you pop that damn thing, it's like
So bad.
So that's what I've found with cleaning them out in the field. I've cut probably 50% of the ones that I take out in the field. I'm not careful, but when I get home, I wash the motherfucker off, and it's fine. Yep. Every time I've done it, you clean out the ash, clean out the bladder, wipe it down when you get home. She good.
I've gotten pretty good at it if you go on the outside and you gotta, everyone's got these big, thick buck knives, which is the complete opposite of what you need. You need a little skinny bastard.
Fillet knife.
And go right around that as deep as you can. And then you go on the inside and you can reach up in there and then you just fist all that stuff right out of there. So,
the whole fist.
Yeah, you can get right up in there. Right.
I try to get 2 fingers, but the whole.
Oh yeah.
So I say 2. I meant 3.
I better make it 3. So I use a buck knife 110, which is I think perfect for skinning, gutting and skinning. But
you get these people that have machete-sized buck knives, and they're like, "Hell yeah, I'm gonna fucking gut this thing."
Right.
I like my $7 Gerber. It's about yay long.
I used to use this $2 paring knife. And then I lost it. I don't know what happened to it.
One of the best things I've ever skinned or gutted with, fucking razor blade.
That works out.
Without the attachment, just the blade.
Dude, just put it
Yep.
Hug it with these 2 fingers. Use this as your backer. And
I tried to fillet a fish with it one. It's tough.
I feel like deer are easier.
Yeah. So if you get piss on your meat, does that necessarily ruin it?
Depends on if that PP is now blue-green. Then I would say you got some issues.
Why does it turn blue-green?
It rotted.
Rotten
poo-poo.
Well, piss turns blue-green?
Oh, yeah. Yum, yum.
How long does that shit take, though? I feel like that would take a minute.
I've seen it after day 3.
I feel like if that were to happen, everything meat-wise would be fucked.
I've had it, where the meat is perfectly fine and that bladder is blue-green, yum-yum. And I've had it where,
are you
that
talking
spreading.
On doe specifically, because they got something extra?
Well, I've seen it on both.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, the milk sack, too. That spoils just as quickly as everything else.
I didn't even think about that.
I've seen milk turn blue. Not in a deer, just in general,
Turn,
Mom, the milk is lumpy. Chew it.
Fucking blue? Thank you.
I was trying not to slam it. It made it so much worse.
Slow and dramatic.
You guys said you're 100 deer ahead of last year. How many did you have last year come in?
Total?
Yeah, we were just a little
What was
shy
it?
of 1,400 last season.
Holy shit.
The year before, we were ahead of that, though. So we're probably pretty close to... Well,
We
I
were
think
still
when
up.
COVID happened, everyone was like, I gotta go hunting for my food.
Oh, yeah, they're like, yep.
COVID was crazy that year.
I had so many people that are like, I don't give a shit if any of the grocery stores run out of food. I'm going hunting and I'm not buying a license.
You're like, okay, well, don't bring it to me.
Yeah.
I was
Stay away
like,
from
cool,
me, please."
dude. Do it all then.
So, how does the check-in thing involve you guys at all, or?
To a point, we got an email that the state isn't requiring us to have confirmation numbers this year, but they're still requiring everyone to have their confirmation or their deer reported within 72 hours.
So, like next year, they're going to have a confirmation number in order to drop it off.
We don't know that yet.
They said
I mean,
this year
honestly,
was
that'd be smart on their behalf.
Yeah. Well, it makes it a lot easier for them to keep track of things.
Oh yeah.
And we work with the DNR with CWD testing on heads, so it makes that process for us easier. Because before we had to, track exactly where they shot the deer and have all sorts of stupid information, and now the hunter has to do it themselves. And so when we report it for the DNR,
They left that shit up to you guys to record that?
Yep, so we're the Berrien County's drop-off area for CWD, head testing, and TB.
Really?
Yep, so we got a big freezer in the front of the shop from the DNR, and they pick it up every single week. And if you bring,
Why doesn't it... I didn't fucking know about that. Did you?
Nope.
so doe heads and bucks that you cut the horns off of, you submit those ones through us, and you get a successful deer patch. And then they get sent off, and then you get a little tag, and in about a week and a half, you can have all of the testing results for CWD or TB.
Do you get a patch for every deer you submit?
Yep.
So 3 seasons later, I could have a quilt?
Yep. Roll it in.
you have to go through us though to get the patch.
Yep.
If you just do the CWD head test on your own, you don't get the patch.
Fuck.
You got to bring us the head.
Hey, I mean...
Well, no, I'll bring you the head, but as far as cutting the deer, I kind of enjoy that.
No, you don't have to. Just,
it's
just
a
bring us
drop
the
off
head.
just for the head.
Just
Chop
the
your head off.
Which...
Just bring us your head. Just the
Amanda
head.
loves head.
So, what is awesome is because Wisconsin was doing a similar thing
Yep.
and they've been doing that for years, and that was kind of my complaint with Michigan. Like, dude, the closest place to drop it off, at least like 2 or 3 years ago, was
Plainwell.
the Plainwell.
Yep.
Now Ben Balos.
Yeah, he's down in Galeen.
Yep, legendary Legacy Mountain taxidermy.
Yeah, Legacy Mountain.
He's got 2 ducks from us right now.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
What kind did you get?
A woody and a mallard.
Nice.
That was last season stuff. I was looking for a taxidermist that would mount them, and I was like,
I think Ben's the only one around here that does
Dude,
birds.
he's the only one besides turkeys.
Okay.
Because I think Elkins is just doing deer, and I think
Right.
Riley's still doing turkeys, but that's it.
we got a turkey at Riley right now. And,
Some muskrats.
oh yeah, I snuck some muskrats in there. He's like, Jim,
He's like, I don't want to be doing this.
I don't do any of this stupid shit. I'm like, you will for me, though.
Have you ever taken any of the weird random shit you trap or shoot and made sausage out of it? Like the muskrats?
No, but I do have this hillbilly friend of mine that brings Ziploc bags in. And he's like, you make some sausage out of this? And I'm like,
He's like, what is it? And the guy's like, it's roadkill.
I'm like, but what is it? He said, well, it's just some good old roadkill. I'm like, okay. I'm like, we'll make his at the end of the day.
We smoked a beaver last year.
Smoked a beaver. How was that?
I didn't try it.
I said I've had beaver since
Not
the
a
last
fan of
time we
beaver.
talked.
What is that, 2-legged or 4-legged?
I'm both, buddy.
Oh, perfect.
But the 4-legged in the crock pot, not bad, dude.
We threw it in the smoker on the brisket setting, and I mean it was tender and everything. a little bit dry, but polling all of the hillbillies in the area, they said younger beaver and brine it first.
Nobody likes a dry beaver, babe.
Yeah, old dry beaver, no go.
Not good.
Oh, we're all gonna end up with a blue dot next to our name.
But anyway, so we had ours in the crock pot with. I just did it like a pot roast.
Oh yeah,
Amazing.
That was good.
Oh, it was
I
amazing.
wouldn't try the smoked beaver. It looked like just dry, like...
Did they leave the head on?
no, you gotta, just the ass end of it. That's the good
Skin
stuff.
the whole thing. Just stick that fucking water rat right in there.
Mama. We got a bunch of friends that that like muskrats and stuff too.
The what?
Eat muskrats.
Dude, I've never caught one or shot one, but I want to try one.
You did shoot one. You just didn't recover it.
Well, I did recover it, but it was...
You didn't shoot it.
You can't shoot them.
You can when they're tunneling under your fucking driveway.
It's so stupid. You can't shoot them, but the way to trap them is to drown them to death. Like, that's stupid.
I love muskrat trapping. It's one of my favorite things to do. You set a colony trap there, and like they just pack inside of this trap until none of them can fit anymore, and then you got a whole like 8 fucking muskrats in one trap.
What?
It's awesome.
You're going to have to learn me.
I'm gonna do it.
Because I have a muskrat problem at the farm.
Perfect. I'm all about it.
So...
He wants to eat them too, so...
The hillbilly guy up the road, he's like, "You won't come take care of my beavers for me, please?" Like, I can do that.
Well, I mean, they're like a water squirrel, man. Like, right? I mean, they're like a miniature beaver.
I mean, water rat?
Whatever.
Or a water rat, yeah.
Muskrat?
Water rat.
I don't know.
They're really ugly. I hate them.
I don't like the word rat.
I
saw my first rat a couple days ago.
Did you?
A couple weeks ago. Have you guys heard that story yet?
No.
That was hilarious.
So, very quickly, I'll go through this.
Whole thing.
What are you doing? Why?
So I got up in the morning, and I was doing the first thing I normally have to do, doing the old constitutional. Heard the dogs making a ruckus. All of a sudden, I heard Allie screaming from the kitchen, "I need you out here now." I'm like, "Pooping." And she said, "I don't give a fuck. I want you out here now." And I got out there naked, poop on my butt. I'm like, "What? What? What's going on?" And she's like, "There's a rat. There's a rat." The dog's got it cornered by the slider. And I'm like, "Okay, it's a big mouse, whatever." So the dogs are like, one's here, and there's a rug, and he's under the rug. And I crouch down, butt naked, and a fucking rat came out. And at that moment, I realized I've never seen a fucking rat before. And I didn't even react. I just stared at it, and it ran right at me, past me, and then behind the dishwasher.
Oh my gosh.
And there was nothing I could do. And she's like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "That was a fucking rat."
Can I go wipe now?
It was fucking nuts.
I might have pooped a little bit more.
So Hank ended up getting it the next day, my dog. But, after further examining, rats are disgusting little fuckers.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to eat a rat, but I'll eat a muskrat.
I think it is a rat still, though. It's just a water rat.
It's bigger.
water rat.
Yeah, it's a bigger water rat.
Water squirrel.
Squirrels are
If
just
anything,
tree
it would be a
rats.
chipmunk. It's not a squirrel.
Squirrels
It's
are...
a water chipmunk.
It's bigger than a damn chipmunk.
It's bigger than a rat, too.
See? Water squirrel.
I think of all of the fur bearer animals out there, the muskrats are the softest.
I was going to say,
I love 'em.
Mink. Aren't mink
Yeah.
softer?
They're
I think
pretty,
so.
They're comparable.
Pretty comparable.
I've actually heard they use muskrat as like a fake mink fur.
I
They
could see
call it a
that.
mink coat, but it's actually muskrat.
I could see that.
How could you tell the difference?
Water weasel.
Color would be the only thing that would throw me. Mink are darker.
Yeah.
Well, the hair is a little bit like more like poofy.
It's probably longer on a muskrat too.
Yeah.
So we sell fur at the shop. Everything that you can catch in Michigan, except for I can't get my
You guys
hands
fuckers
on.
do everything these days. You guys fucking tested for CWD, fucking selling fur.
We have a lot of fur. The fox, I think, is the softest.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my hands on more bobcats, Fisher, and Martins, but we have a good stock of everything else. Coyotes,
This is the softest?
yepers.
Let me touch it. No, this sucks.
Hey,
You need to touch some of our foxes. They're much softer than that.
that wasn't a fox. That was a
Oh.
coyote.
Okay.
Oh, that's a red ass coyote. Holy
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, that was a red.
That's a nice one.
That's
You
cool.
thought that was a fox?
It was under my sweatshirt, dude. I just saw the red when I walked in.
City people.
Damn.
We've had a bunch of so the best-selling fur is the muskrat because all the Chicago people on the
my
lake
God.
have been buying them for dog
for
shoes.
dog toys.
What?
Isn't that the
It's
goofiest thing ever?
$35 for a tanned little muskrat, and these people buy it for their dogs.
So it's just the skin?
Yeah.
Just the skin.
They're like, oh, I gave it to my dog. I was like, oh my God, can you imagine the mess of a ripped up muskrat fur?
We had somebody that came in, they bought a muskrat for their dog, and their dog loved it. The dog didn't destroy it, and then they bought a raccoon pelt for their dog, too. I gave Pepper and Bo a muskrat. I'm like, here you go, you chew on this. And it's like, why the fuck would you do that? They
No,
were
she's
really
one-
happy, and
Because she's
they...
from fucking Illinois.
They liked it, and it taught them how to, kill the animals in our yard.
Possum slayers.
Yeah, they really, every time we leave our dogs out overnight, they kill a possum and leave it on our deck. Every time. But I don't ever see alive possums at our house, but they always seem to find dead ones when they leave it on the deck.
Because they played
Like
dead.
a cat would do.
They're like, I'm on to you, fucker.
You ain't dead yet.
Fucking possum. Well, possum's pretty damn soft, honestly. That doesn't seem like bad fur.
We don't have that at the shop.
Because
That's
I used to get them in my traps every now and then, but a guy I learned a lot of like trapping stuff from, and he said the best thing to use possum fur for is trap or scent. Like put your lure on it
yeah.
because it holds it real well.
Oh yeah.
He's like, you just cut it up in little chunks, but it's super soft. I mean, I feel like you could use it for something.
That's our plan. We want to get full mounts of every single fur bearer in Michigan at the shop, and then I also want to go.
You guys already got a shit ton of taxidermy, right?
We have a
Yeah.
lot.
So
It's like a mini Cabela's in there.
next spring we're actually ripping the front wall of the shop out, and we're building a new 35 by 64 building in front of the shop, and that'll be
Like an addition.
Yeah, an addition on the shop, so that'll be our super curb appealy retail room.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to put tall walls and scissor trusses so we can hang a shit ton more taxidermy.
We have a lot in the retail store right now, but there's so much in the attic. And Tim and I went to a bunch of auctions and just bought like a fuck ton of stupid taxidermy.
Just
We
anything
don't have room
dumb.
for it.
I want everything
He
dumb.
bought this fucking goat thing. It's the ugliest thing ever. I gave it to our tattoo guy. I was like, you take this. This will look better in your shop than ours. It's so ugly.
It was
He was like cross-eyed and he was so ugly.
You bought a cross-eyed goat.
I was pretty upset about
it
that
was
goat.
some sort of African thing. I don't know. Is everything from Africa cross-eyed? I don't know.
Dude, that
I want a
that sounds
cross-eyed goat
awesome.
mount.
Right, that sounds awesome. And you gave it away
Yeah, I gave it to our tattoo guy. I love it.
for a tattoo.
No, we just gave it to him for a present.
For a wiener.
When we hold hands, our wieners kiss.
That's brilliant.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I'll drink to that.
Okay.
That's the most American thing I've had.
Yeah, these cans are popping pretty loud this time.
I know. Well, I got the gain up on a couple of these mics.
I know you're trying to figure out what that hum is.
You had it
Fucking
gone
fridge.
for a
Oh,
while.
it's a fridge.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
It's a trying to keep our beer cold.
Mr. Wong, love a nice cold beer.
So speaking of Mr. Wong, dude, so the whole backstory with the Mr. Wong was because you guys used to call people after they used to leave their deer for too long and be like, And this is Mr. Wong.
And Willie would talk to him like that.
Well, that was the time of deer season where we are sleep deprived and don't give a shit about anything.
Drunk.
Mostly drunk, calling people that have had their deer in the cooler for way too long. Hello, this is Mr. Wong from Kill Meat. You pick up your deer now. You pick it up now. Or Mr. Wong, he gonna find you.
Oh my god.
Awesome.
Well, because there was people that left their shit there for
Oh
months.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what's the? Because it's what, $10 a day? You guys used to
$10 a day. Yeah.
After
Holy
5 days,
shit.
Yeah.
after 5 days.
Yeah. So we give them, you can get.
basically got a
We don't
work week.
usually charge people for their fucking storage fee. Like, just tell me, like, hey, I'm out of town. I'm gonna be there in 2 weeks. Like, I'm cool with that. Just don't be a dick and, like, leave it sit in my fucking freezer forever.
Yeah, there would be like, yeah, I'm coming tomorrow.
And
And
then
then
they
there'd be
don't
like,
come.
I'm coming tomorrow. I'm coming tomorrow. Well, I just didn't have time to get out there. I'd be like, well, you got time to pay us now.
Yeah. Sucks for you.
I had some
Weird.
guy that had, it was twice the size of this deer on the wall. And it was a cape there. And I'm like, you need to pick up your cape. Like, after a week, usually I freeze them as a
It was
courtesy.
in the freezer forever.
And I'm like, dude, I charged that guy $180 to, like, get his cape back because he would not come pick it up. I'm like, it's $10 a day. He's like, well, I'll get there eventually. I'm like, it's $180 or I'm keeping it. Because it was there 23
Right.
days. I'm like, because you get 5 days for free. I'm like, what are you doing,
Our
dude?
freezer gets so bad that it'll be like, we'll have like tunnels through the freezer to try to like.
Because you guys can store a shit ton of deer.
Shuffling
Oh,
boxes
oh, yeah.
around trying to find shit. And
That's so terrible. I hate that. I get like anxiety attacks when I have to go into the freezer sometimes. I'm like, oh man, it's fucking cold, and my brain shuts off, and I'm like, I don't even know
And
what a 2 looks like anymore.
And Amanda, you're the one out there like dealing with the customers on a daily basis, right?
Yeah,
So
usually.
you take the brunt of everything.
I know, yeah. I was just thinking about that. I was gonna bitch at Tim because I have
Well,
to
this
deal
is
with
a great time to do it.
I have to deal with all of the customers all the time, and they're really, really sexist assholes a lot, and they don't believe anything that I say, and
Like when
Then-
they come to pick it up, or when they
well,
there you
pass
go,
this
Tim.
down the line.
oh sorry, yeah, when they or no, like typically they're mean to me when I'm taking their cut list, and they know everything.
Fuck that.
They know everything because they're an old hunter guy. and
I've
I'm just a
always
girl.
cut up my deer.
And so then when I tell them like,
I'm a professional.
Well, then do it yourself, there, smart ass.
Yeah, I'd be like, then finish it yourself.
or then we'll have like I'll have Tim come up and he'll say the same exact fucking thing, and all of a sudden everything's fine. Like I didn't just say it to him, and
Amanda will just sit there and like stare at it and be like, didn't I just fucking tell you that? The same fucking thing? But if it comes out of a man's mouth, it's okay all of a sudden?
I had a guy drop a deer off the other day. He would not fucking talk to me. He kept like telling the person he was with to tell me what he wanted.
Are you shitting
He
me?
wouldn't tell me anything, and then he kept just telling, well, tell her I want trail sticks. And finally I was like, I know you want trail sticks. I'm like, I'll get to the fucking trail sticks in a minute. And he wouldn't talk to me. The entire time he wouldn't talk to me. And then I went, met him in the back, I hung his deer up, and then Tim finally walked in. And the first time he had an interaction with a Clearwater Meats employee was when he thanked Tim, who wasn't there the whole fucking time. Tim just walked in the room, and I was like, oh, thank you so much, Tim, but you can't talk to me.
I'm here and
Why?
everything is amazing.
You didn't do anything. He was pooping the whole time that guy was there.
I had a great shit. I appreciate your thankfulness.
I mean,
Yeah, the sexistness is like through the roof.
Oh.
Like they'll scream and scream and scream at her, and then I'll get on the phone or I'll come up there and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong." I'm like, "Oh, then shut the fuck up." Amanda has a tip jar right there. Tips for tits. Fill it up.
everybody wins.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I mean, it's the old guys, right? Because I mean, you guys are the only guys in business right now. So like, dudes that used to take it I mean, Gary Zick, he hasn't been doing it for over a decade anymore.
Right. He'll take in boned out meat.
Yeah, they're
Right,
only
but that's
custom shit. They don't
Right.
bone nothing.
Which you guys take also, right?
Right. So Gary, he'll actually send people to us. They'll be like, "Oh, you want Zick sticks and stuff? Just go to Clearwater. They'll bone out your deer for you. They'll package it up right, and then bring it right back to us." And that works out great. Us and Gary have a great working relationship with everything.
That's awesome.
Because, I mean, everyone tries to pit us against everyone else, and it's like, there is more processing work than any place could ever do. I mean, I tell everyone, we can do most of the deer that's killed in Berrien County. We just can't do all of them.
But, I mean, every year you guys get more
Yep.
and more and more.
But we still are the only shop that I ever have heard of that doesn't run out of room and always accepts deer. So we don't have cutoff times usually, especially in bow season. We're 24/7, always on call. I got enough cooler storage to hold 700 deer at a time, hanging.
Jesus.
So, you know, in when gun season hits, you go from, you know, you could take in 100 and something a day. 100. You start getting backed up because we can only cut, say, 50 a day. So we still have good turnaround. I mean, nothing more than 10 days from drop off. But, you know, you finally start caught up about December 15th. And then it's all easy peasy after that.
I mean, 10 days that's pretty quick turnaround regardless. I've taken stuff into Zix before in the past, and I mean, it's anywhere from, well, we're out of this, we're out of that, we're not running a batch of this, so, 3 weeks we'll call you.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's fine, but 10 days is quick.
Sometimes it takes a little bit longer if you get, like, something weird. Like, we had a guy come in and he... honey barbecue with jalapeno. People love these snack sticks. We should probably just offer it as an option. But then, so he's going to order that, and it'll take longer than 10 days, depending on how much that person is going to order of something weird. But you have to order 25 pounds or we won't do it.
How long does it take you, like, average, like, per deer, you think?
To cut it?
Yeah.
28 minutes, maybe?
Somewhere in there. Because we have it all in stages, so... Like the
But
guys
that's
at
not
night,
from start to finish.
yeah,
That's
the
after
guys at
it's
night
broke
will
down.
skin it,
That's
and
insanely
then we got
fast.
another set of guys that'll break down, and then it's the final cut and pack. So
skinning it, what, 2 minutes for you guys?
it's not too bad at all. I mean, if you got two guys working on, we call them junkers, which would be does and bucks, small bucks.
Junkers. I
yeah,
fucking
that's-
love it.
Those go really freaking quick, and then you got cape outs and euros and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
That those take anywhere from 21 to 23 minutes.
So, I mean, that's a huge thing, right? That you guys are able to do that because a lot of people fuck that shit up.
Starting last year, me and Amanda, we got on the YouTube, and we learned how to do the euro mounts.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we got pretty good at it. We did 60 at the end of last season in 3 weeks. We had everything from the whole season done before January 1st. So
You do them on a boiling process? Or?
right. So
Okay.
everyone's like, you should get beetles. You know what the hell would
You have
happen if we
beetles in
had
the
beetles in
butcher
the
shop?
fucking butcher shop that only eat dead meat? Like,
that'd
that is a
be-
terrible fucking idea.
Yeah.
So we do the simmer process. We'll do like simmer with OxyClean, and then we'll degrease it, and then we whiten it. So actually, we push through quite a bunch. I mean, we'll do 5 in a set, and like we'll skin 5, we'll prep 5, we'll boil 5, we'll degrease 5, we'll whiten 5. I mean, and it's every single day. So you move through a shit house full of them.
Do you guys like sleep or?
No, never sleep.
I really actually, sleep is my favorite thing.
No, as
But
long
this
as
time of the year.
Amanda gets a lot of sex, she's good.
Yeah.
Sleep is awesome from January to September.
Yeah. We're busy all the time. We don't get sleep any time of the year. There's always something at the shop. Deer season is busy, but so is retail, so is
Hay
custom
season.
slaughter. Yeah, the farm.
Hey, we're doing hay tomorrow.
Oh,
You're
it's
doing hay tomorrow.
Yep, I sure the fuck am.
God. What are you doing with hay?
It's third cutting.
You're
now.
bailing?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Really?
I already power washed everything and put it away for the year.
We had a kid right about when that shit was supposed to be done, so we're doing it right now, apparently.
Actually, we put up roughly, I figured it up the other day, between hay and straw, we put up 18,000 bales of hay and straw.
Holy
And
shit.
I'm down to 400 bales total. I'm like, moved through some stuff this year.
Well, you guys sell it all, right? You guys don't use any of it.
So Dad
We
will
do.
keep probably 300 round bales for the cattle because Dad still raises all the cows that we sell in the butcher shop up the front.
Gotcha.
So that's what we make all of a bunch of the steaks and different stuff out of is the cattle that's raised on our farm.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, we right around the time you're supposed to cut it around Labor Day,
Yep.
it wasn't really ready.
Yep. If you got a bunch of alfalfa and stuff, you got 3 cuttings. If the fields didn't have alfalfa in it, I only got 2 cuttings off of a lot of them fields.
Well, she got one cutting off the one field. We got a lot of round bales, and then this one, she's like, "All right, we're square baling, and we might get 200 bales."
She lied.
What?
She said she wasn't gonna fucking square bale anything else.
I know.
I don't want to throw hay tomorrow.
Well, lucky for you, by the time you get there, at least half of it should be done. Should be.
You need that machine that we got. We don't even touch them anymore.
Preach.
You got one of those accumulators, huh?
Yeah, yeah. They're all palletized. We unload all the wagons with a forklift, double stack them in the barn.
Yeah.
The only time we ever have to touch actually with our hands is if we deliver to somebody and have to throw it off the side of the wagon.
God.
And then they're like, well, will you stack this hay for me? I'm like, nah, no.
$3 a bale.
Yeah, no shit.
I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna tell you this right now. This hay tomorrow is gonna be fucking heavy.
Oh, yeah.
It's
You
gonna
Well,
better
be
that
big
depends
shit.
on how she fucking bales it.
You better loosen it up.
What? That's a. This is a conversation to have off mic, but but loose bales suck. They fucking suck.
Better than 120-pound bales. I'll take a loose 40-pound bale over a 120-pound bale any day.
Now when you're stacking a fucking wagon, that shit sucks.
Fuck you. I've picked them up with broken strings.
Loose bales.
It's got a little room to get some things in there.
So, fuck, where are we at on time, man? I don't even fucking know.
You're fucked.
We're fucked. We're fucked.
It's always fucked.
We're always fucked.
It's our podcast. Nothing's planned. We're just flying by the seat of our pants.
But I know I think I've already asked this, but seriously, do you guys? What are the do's and don'ts for people planning on dropping off their deer this year?
You can gut it or not. I'll gut deer for $40.
I thought it
As
was
long as
50.
it's fresh.
Yeah, it used to
Nope.
be 50.
No,
No,
$40.
No, we actually raised it from 35 or 30, 35 or 30.
I don't know.
I raised the price this year. For gutting.
Okay, so as long as it's a fresh one, do not, by any means, cut the damn deer all the way from ass to the throat because that's absolutely ridiculous.
Can we go? Can we get into why?
Probably because, everyone flays everything open and then it's full of dirt and leaves and
Because you got to
Meat.
drag the deer.
right. There's so much debris.
Well, and then it's hanging in our cooler and it's all drying out and you're ruining all of that meat that's there.
Basically,
It's exposed and it doesn't need to be.
the less you do, the better your results will be.
So gut it and bring it in,
Yep.
good.
Or don't gut it
Or don't gut
or
it.
don't gut
and
it.
give us $40.
Whatever.
For 3 minutes of work.
Yeah.
Hell yes. The greatest thing is when these guys are like, which I'm not going to talk shit because I love it. But they'll be like, I didn't have no time to gut that deer. And I'll be there just bullshitting with him. And he's like, yep, this deer came in and it was like 30 yards and, it was quartering away from me. Boom, the deer's already gutted. Haha, thank you, $40.
I was gonna say that's gotta be like the worst thing ever for the customer. Like, all right, I'm gonna pay him to do this thing, and it's like
And he's
over in
done.
less than 2 minutes.
That's I'd really like to find my great grandpa was great at this. So like when I started my butcher shop, my great grandpa was 95 or 96, somewhere there. That's who, he came from Germany on the boat, yada, yada, yada. Was a slaughter man and always butchered deer and stuff, and that's who taught me everything. So he was always the greatest guy to sit in the chair at the back door and deal with all of the customers' stories and everything. So I need to find an old guy like that again to be like, just be there and talk to everyone on all their stories so I can get back to work. Because everyone has a story, and I'm always happy to hear, but it's like, at a certain point, I'm like, all right, I gotta go.
$20 an hour cash.
I got
I'll be your cooler
a
man
lot
too.
of shit to do.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Josh will just stroll in with the microphones and be like, come here. Come here, tell us your story.
Fucking Gramps would be there. He'd be like, you know, it's a shame you took that from its mother. I'm like, Gramps, you can't be ridiculing people. I'm
You
like,
can't make people feel bad.
Hey, shot a spike. What do you want from me?
we're never judgmental. I would prefer if people shot small deer. It's all the same price, $100.
Easier to handle.
You shoot a 30-pound deer or a 240-pound deer, it's $100. Like,
Really?
yeah,
You don't do weight categories?
hell no, it's $100.
Fuck, most people like.
Everyone does that.
I think Pokagan does weight categories.
It- I don't know if he does or not.
No,
I haven't-
he'll call us and he'll be like, "What's your price this year?" And he'll want to be like on
Yeah.
the same.
He's actually
level.
one of the guys that we're really good friends with as far as relationship with processors. Like, if he needs supplies or questions on stuff, like,
Yeah.
he'll come over and grab some stuff from us. But, you know, we ran into a shit ton of that when we were starting our business. Everyone's so like, fuck them. They are just a bunch of dumb fucking kids and they're never going to make it. Well, guess what? All them fucking bastards are out of business now. So, we try to keep a good working relationship with as many people as we can. And, I mean, you're a fucking moron if you think that you can handle all the deer in Michigan by yourself. There's no way in hell. There's more work than one person can do.
That's
Well, even just Berrien County in general. I mean, that's
Right. Which will be super awesome with this reporting thing, because you can actually look online and be like, how many deer are actually being killed?
Dude, it was like for the early season, before bow season even opened, I want to say it was close to 10,000 deer were already killed. Something like that.
So, like, youth season, they had that, and there were, in Berrien County, there was 26 deer reported killed, and we did 22 of them. So I was like, well, that's kind of cool to see that kind of thing, because that was the biggest youth season that I've ever seen this year.
where they actually brought deer to you.
Well, like,
it was just our busiest for youth season.
yeah, so usually, like, youth season, it'll
Our
be
highest
like
was 7.
Well, it's usually
previously.
hot as shit. Too.
4 to 7 deer, maybe. And we got 22 this year.
Well, wasn't it? It was fairly cool this year. It wasn't bad.
We did have that cold snap right then.
Yeah, I mean, it was still like in the 60s, I think, but it wasn't like terrible. It was like it is now. Maybe a little cooler,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
Well, what?
I mean, I wanted to get into the nitty gritty of like how you guys make all your snack sticks and everything.
We
but
can do it.
You should.
Amanda's great at handling meat.
I'm good at it.
I was just curious how big of batches you guys do and what machines you have. Is it all big ass industrial pneumatic, or do you do small batch shit all the time?
We usually do 50-pound runs of everything, but we'll do like, yeah, everything-
25.
Yeah,
25 would be like the minimum.
The smallest, yeah.
Because of course, as we grow, we get bigger and bigger equipment. But we
Right.
still want to stay, we're the family-owned small guys. So we don't
Right.
want to get like,
Too
oh,
big.
you can't get anything of your own meat unless you got 187 pounds or something. No. If you get 25 pounds, we're still
Then
making
it'll
small
still be
batches for
your
people.
Snack sticks.
Okay, but do you have the licensing now where you guys do mixed meat and just do large batch? Here, this is your 5 pounds of this. This is 5 pounds of that.
So there's no way in living hell that anyone could go in there and be like, I want 1 pound of this, 1 pound of that,
Yeah.
2 pounds of that, 3 pounds of that,
If
1
you
pound of
order
that.
small
No way
Yeah.
in
Right.
hell.
It's not your
Those are the
meat.
big batches.
Well, that's what I was curious on. I don't know exactly the way the laws are written in Michigan, but when you're doing like single cut for people, from my understanding, I could go out and put a sign in the driveway and be like, "Hey, yeah, we process deer,"
Yep.
and it would be okay.
There's no licensing needed for processing deer at all. But this is where things are going to get tricky in the future. Any processor that's in Michigan has to have a retail meat license to be able to add beef or pork. They also need a retail meat license and special licensing to do their own specialty meats. There are a ridiculous amount of garage butchers that do not have this licensing. So, at one point, the state of Michigan could step in and shut down 70% of the processors in Michigan. Hot dog.
Playing with his damn phone.
Right.
Fucking ADD motherfucker.
Yeah, so the garage processors that add, technically they can't add beef or pork to the burger, but they do.
I wasn't sure if they could even make, like, not even just the burger. Like, I wasn't sure they could make snack sticks or anything.
Mm-mm.
I thought that's a separate handling license as far as, like...
Yeah, you gotta have certain variances, and you gotta have the USDA and MDARD and everyone out there.
Right, there's a certification process through your facility for the cleanliness of it, because it's it's a finished product.
Right, so once you step into the whole realm of cooking, cooling, curing,
right,
that is a whole nother level of things that a lot of people are doing and are not licensed for.
Right.
Because, I mean, just to do somebody's deer, a custom order.
You can do that. You could do it.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't need shit.
Right.
Right, like we've done that here and there. You cut the deer for somebody,
but you're giving them raw product back.
Right.
Well, and that's where I think was it last year, the year before, you started talking about maybe getting into doing pastrami and stuff with me. And I don't know what the fuck the laws are.
Yeah,
on
of course.
Well, it was last year we started talking about it. We looked into it, and then that's when but still, it didn't look like it was that tough.
Right.
I don't want to fucking do that though, man.
Oh, I don't either. Especially not now. I don't got time for shit.
Of course, for your own use, you can do whatever the hell you want. But those people that are doing all this jerky, snack sticks, salami, anything cured, they need special variances from the state. And although everyone's like, F the state, this and that, fuck the government, they're getting in our business. I understand that to a point, too, because I hate paying taxes for worthless people.
Well, and the government sucks.
Yeah, it's fucking horseshit. But then again, you look at the scientific side of things with curing and cooking and cooling, you can kill people if you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Exactly.
And if you have too little cure, sodium nitrates and shit, that product is not cured and not shelf stable and is going to spoil and get you sick. If you have too much, it's going to kill you. And that's why some of them rules are there, to kind of protect the general public. And I run into that a lot of times when people are trying to make their own shit. They're like, "Oh, you got some of that pink salt?" I'm like, "Yeah, how much do you need?" "Well, just give me a couple pounds." I'm like, "How much are you making?" "Well, 30 pounds. I'm like, "You need 1 ounce per 25 pounds. And they're like, "Well, what do you mean?" "Oh, I just throw some in there." I'm like, "You're gonna fucking kill people."
This is how you wind up with coronary disease.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe I'm naive or dumb or whatever, but I mean, pink salt, it's just the salt content itself. The sodium content will kill them?
Well, it's a curing salt.
So that's what's screwed up now, because you got the Himalayan salt, which is completely different than cure salt, which is the sodium nitrate stuff.
Right.
And people are trying to substitute.
It's not the same.
It's not the same stuff. So it's like
you can cure with salt, but you can't.
It's a real gray area there.
Lick your finger, stick it in one, taste it. Lick your finger, stick it in the other, taste it.
Die.
You'll tell, holy shit. The difference in those two is drastic.
Yeah. But what is hurting you? The sodium content?
I don't know if it's it's
so
way more potent. I can take a chunk of Himalayan pink salt and chew on it and be fine. If I take a same size chunk of pink curing salt, which I mean it's finely granulated,
like is it like water softener salt, or is it like got some shit in it that like you should not be putting in your body,
there was no saving that. I'm sorry.
or that you should be putting in your body in small increments?
I don't know what the chemical aspect is of it. That's somebody that knows more than me would have to get into that. But
I'm just firing from the hip because I'm curious. But
There's a lot of science that goes between all of that stuff, and of course, being a hillbilly, I don't have no fucking idea how it works. But it's like you got to go through a certain set of guidelines, and then like when we did all of our variances and stuff, we had a guy from the state actually come and bullshit with us the whole day, and he wanted to make sure that the science worked out on what we were doing. He wanted to make sure that the cooking aspect of it was getting done in the right amount of time, and the cooling process was getting done in the right time. So he's like, oh yeah, everything looks fucking good to me. I'm like, perfect. And then he's like, green light, you can do whatever the hell you want.
well, I mean, not only that, but there's all the regulations, but just doing it and not fucking it up seems tough. I've never tried it personally, but Josh, you dabbled in that shit last year. And I mean,
it's been a couple of years I've been playing around with it, yeah.
And I mean, you've damn near got it dialed in. There's been some errors here and there, but
some stuff. Well, it was the snack sticks were cooking it too long. Sometimes I'm drunk when I make the pastrami and I add too much salt.
no, I have. When it comes to the pastrami, don't change a fucking thing.
Well, when I made yours, I wasn't drunk.
That shit's phenomenal. But
Yep, there's certain things during the day where you're like, I gotta get this done before we start getting the bush lattes, and then there's stuff that you're like, yep, I can get this done after like 12 bush lattes, like we're good.
Speaking of bush lattes, can I have one, please?
I think these are still cold. They are still cold.
Oh, that's nice.
Right down the line. Thank you, sir.
Oh, so the rest of things, like, yeah, we have the biggest batch we can make is a 50-pound mixer. But then again, we got a commercial smokehouse out of Canada. And then we can cook about, what the heck is that? 300 pounds of snack sticks at a time.
300 pounds of snack sticks and
Holy shit.
a lot more of the salami.
We invested in that big time because then you have some consistency. So these smokers, these commercial smokehouses, which is very similar to what like Six has, but he has a huge scale of things because he's distributing everywhere.
Right.
We have a 1 cart. He said he has multiple 4 cart smokers. It's crazy. I'm always in awe and I'm very jealous. But one of these days, maybe.
Oh fuck, Zix, he's been in it for
Oh yeah. Well,
40
and then,
years.
Then you got to look at that too.
He's got all the Cabela's shit lined up and stuff too, doesn't he?
And that Billy Bob's or whatever the fuck he's got going on.
Yeah, Buffalo Bob's.
Buffalo Bob's, yeah.
So I always got to take that in consideration too. I'm like, and he's already second generation. I just opened this hillbilly shop 8 years ago. Maybe when I'm his age, I'll have some cool shit.
Well, I'll tell you this. For the past, 5 years at least, you mentioned Clearwater Meats. Everybody that hunts deer knows who the fuck you are, at least. Even if they don't take their shit there, they know you,
Yeah, I feel bad. I've never been to your shop.
Dick.
Yeah, what an asshole.
Cut all my own
She
shit.
ain't no good.
I got taught when I was 12 how to cut my deer up.
Well, we cut our own deer up, but when it comes to specialty meats, especially, that's where people like you, it's perfect.
I get bored in
Drop the bone down
January.
me. But is there? Sorry, excuse me. Is there boned out meat that you guys get that you're
Oh, fucking all the time. People are fucking clueless.
How do
Send
you-
it away a lot.
How do you handle that? Do you just call them up and be like, hey, your
Your
shit's
stuff's
full?
shit.
I won't even take it in if you bring meat that's bad. I just send them away.
How do you know if it's frozen, though? If they bring you frozen, boned out meat?
Yeah, then it has to thaw out and we have to figure it out from there.
Yeah, because I think it was last year or the year before, we had a guy that brought meat directly from the processor, a different processor. He's like, man, I want your guys' snack sticks. And I'm like, I have no idea what's in these paper wrapped things.
It was like just a frozen block, so we put it out to thaw, and
This shit
so
was
bad.
straight green. When it, like 2 days later, green, still had hide on it. It was disgusting, all
What?
bone in.
They had it wrapped.
with hide on it still and bone in it. Yeah, it was really bad.
It was
That came from our
absolutely-
fucking processor?
Oh yeah,
Garage processor.
garage processor.
Holy shit.
But I was like, I called him. I was like, if you have any more of this deer, please, for your own safety, like throw it away. Like
He was upset, but we sent him pictures, and he understood.
15, 20
Because
pictures.
he was like, I just picked it up and came directly to your place. How is it bad?
Look at that shit.
Ah.
Like, you're giving people chops back, and it's got fucking bone marrow. It's got the spinal cord in it. It's got...
Oh, and you're talking disease, dude. With the spinal cord and
Look
that
at
shit.
this. This is their roast? Like, what are you doing?
You gotta show Josh that shit. Or good God.
Ugh. What the hell? How does anyone think that's okay?
Look at that shit. How about they still have the hair on it?
Ugh.
And then they want us to make shit out of it? Like, no. Garbage. All garbage.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck are you supposed to do?
Dude, the only thing I can think to excuse that is if the dude's freezer was like in and out, and it spoiled in the processor's freezer, and the dude took 2 months to pick it up, and it just happened to be froze when he got it.
Well, just
That's the only thing I can think of that would excuse that kind of shit.
But as a processor, too, like...
You should fucking know your freezer's
You should
going
know,
out.
like, we have monitoring devices, like, we're installing that this next month, where I can come in it and every single cooler, freezer, everything has a readout in the front of the building. Like, all right, cool, that one's working right, that one's right, that one's right, that one's right. That has issues, we need to... And, I mean, we got cooler techs on call all the time. Like, if there's a variance in temperature, we know it, and we take care of it immediately.
I've never seen meat that bad.
Oh,
fucking
it's
gross, dude.
It's terrible.
I've had some times where I'm like, damn, my deer's been hanging 5 days. I need to get that fucker done now. Nowhere near like, okay, I feel way better about myself now.
Well, I feel like there's a huge portion of the hunting community that just doesn't have any education when it comes to meat
Right,
handling.
so we tried to, I'm never going to rip on somebody. It's just an educational thing. So
That's left for Mr. Wong.
Oh, yeah. The professional nice Timmy has to come out then. If somebody comes in and they've split it all the way to the chin, they're like, well, my granddaddy said you always got to get the esophagus out. Okay, well, yeah, that's true. You got to get it out in a legitimate time frame. I said, but you don't have to do that. I said, we will skin it out, and we take it out immediately. And everything's clean, and there's no hair, there's no dirt, there's no leaves. It doesn't look like you opened your deer up, took a poop in it, and then took it in. Like,
Right.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you guys deal. I'm not trying to interrupt you, but just like people all the time, I'm sure don't realize that if you cut from the inside out, you
Yeah.
eliminate the hair
yeah.
virtually,
And there's still people that are taking their knife
and going from the outside in. Right? Yeah.
yeah, and that's turns into a complete poop pile. Well, and people bringing in from out of state too, out west, and they'll bring everything submerged in ice, and it's all in water.
Yeah.
And we actually had this happen last week. They had multiple corridors in there, so we took that out, covered in hair, whatever, torch it all, try to get everything all nice and clean, process that, and I'm going through the rest of these coolers, and there's just crazy amounts of weird, like, chopped up meat inside. So I'm putting it in a pile, putting it in a pile, putting it in a pile. dump the ice out. Guess what's in the bottom of this cooler? Poop. There's poop everywhere.
It's poop water.
Poop water. They marinated
all the meat
all
was
the
in.
rest of their meat in poop.
Tasty.
I mean, just water in general is no bueno, right?
No.
I mean, you
no
rinse
good.
it off initially
moisture
if you need
breeds
to.
bacteria.
But I mean, you can rinse it off, right? You rinse it off
Yeah.
and then pat
Right.
dry it, and then you're good.
Right.
But don't soak it in anything.
well, that's what I do.
Well, like, what about the people that put the ice in the cavity, the chest cavity?
That works out really good.
I've done that
because it
for-
leaks out the neck hole.
Yep.
I've done that for early season. If it's hot out, grab the deer, stuff the ice up inside the chest
here's
cavity.
the bottom of the cooler. Yeah, poop. And I told the guys, see, there's the bottom of the cooler. Poop.
Poopy doo.
I was like, hey, I threw more than half your deer away because you marinated in poop from Montana. What do you mean? I'm like, you didn't cut any of the buttholes out. There was poop everywhere, and you marinated your deer in poop.
They didn't do that. They had somebody else quarter it or debone it or whatever it was.
The neighbor.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Always
Maybe
the
they
neighbor.
lied, I guess. They said they
Every
didn't
fucking
do it.
time you confront anyone about
It was
anything,
this other guy. It was the
it
other
was
guy.
my neighbor. I'm like, well, that was, I put a post on Facebook. I said, quit taking your deer to your fucking neighbor. Everyone's neighbor's a dumbass.
Your neighbor's fucking retarded.
No, that's my biggest thing. Like, the less you do and the less you let your neighbor do, the better your yield will be. I mean, that's the biggest thing about everything.
I mean, if you're gonna take it to a processor, really just gut like you said, just gut it. But
Yeah.
but I've even the gutting
No,
process.
don't gut it. Don't gut it. They like the $40.
Yeah.
$40.
I like
Pay Mr. Wong $40.
Mr. Monkey Robin, $40.
But you were saying even the people that are gutting it and like taking it all the way up to the fucking chin, like I know people that do that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll take a fucking saw out in the woods with them. I'm like, why?
Dude, you can pop the sternum with a knife.
But
I-
fucking why?
I used-
Why?
I had
Why the fuck do you need to do
I
that?
used to go to the top of the sternum just because I could spread it and then pull everything out.
I mean,
I
look,
could
you
grab the
look,
esophagus
I'm looking at
and
you
pull
right
it
now.
out.
Your arms are not fucking short. You do not have T-Rex arms.
I
You are
understand
able
that.
to reach up in the chest.
Hey,
Oh, you want another one?
Well, fuck yeah.
I thought you were trying to take mine.
No.
so Brent, we had this discussion about the blood all up like how I typically stay way cleaner than you do.
I like the roll in the blood. Right.
It
Like a
didn't
fucking savage.
bother me to take the knife and go up the. I'd stop at the like halfway up the sternum, just to where I could grab the esophagus, pull it out, take the heart in one piece, pull the lungs, make sure everything was cleaned out. I wouldn't go all the way up to the fucking throat, but
I know, but I'm just saying. Like,
But if you stop right at that brisket bone
right,
and you reach down in there, because you got that
diaphragm.
skirt steak, basically, the diaphragm.
Yep.
And you cut both sides of that, and you can reach down in there, and you feel the esophagus and cut it
Right.
in there. If you grab a hold of that esophagus and you just yank, all that shit's coming right out. And you don't even have to go anywhere past this, because the only cut you need to make is that esophagus, and that's it.
right.
Mm-hmm.
You just take your knife up in there and because it's attached to the back, right?
Yeah.
So you
Right.
just slit that a little bit, cut it,
Yeah.
rip it.
Because it doesn't matter. You could be flailing your knife around up in this chest cavity. There's nothing up there that you're gonna pop.
fuck up. You're not gonna fuck
Right.
your meat up. You're
No.
not gonna do shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The only reason I ever did that is for the sake of it's cold. I'm not rolling up my sleeves. I don't want to cover my shit in blood.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go up a couple ribs,
Yep.
reach in there, pull.
There you go.
I only had to
See,
go up
I'm
to there.
the fucking dumbass in the middle of December or January would take my shirt off and do a t-shirt and be like,
Well, yeah, it depends on how far out I am. I mean, I don't do that. Most of the time, I don't do that. But
but
I'm not saying I haven't done
I'm
it.
just saying, like, when I'm gutting a deer, my goal is to get him as light as possible, as quick as possible, because I need to get him to a spot where I can put him in the truck as soon as possible, get him hung as soon as possible.
Dude, I've shot a couple of them where I'm far enough out in the field. I thought about just quartering the bitch out right there. It's like, I don't want to track this. My truck won't make it out here. There's 2 foot of standing water in this field. I
would give you props if you packed out a fucking whitetail. And down here, what you got?
We could all take a hiatus and then come back in like 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's the bathroom right there.
I could pee too.
Don't judge me.
Oh, yeah. I'm just gonna go outside.
I think so. Okay.
I can't like drink beer and not pee like every other beer. I was like slowly sipping it so that I didn't have to pee, and I'm like, damn it.
Well, we got enough of a break in there. We'll just everything will be edited out.
Perfectos.
Thank you for fucking saying something. I was about ready to pop.
I was gonna start to cry soon if I didn't say something. But I would have said something. Tim, you texted him. You're like, she has to pee.
No, I
You just show him the text.
Yeah, Amanda's gotta pee.
Alright, we can close this bitch out.
America. Did you finish all of your questions on your phone there?
I think so.
I think he even hardly got into them, to be honest with you, buddy.
No, but I think we had a pretty decent conversation. I think we
Well,
covered everything we wanted.
What
to.
else is on there? I brought up buttholes.
You did.
You did bring up buttholes.
Let's see. Buttholes wasn't on there.
Oh,
That's
shit.
surprising with you.
That should be in every podcast. What can you tell me about buttholes?
Do you guys accept skinned deer?
Generally
Typically,
not.
No.
Oh, did you want to talk?
Typically, no. I said.
You gotta fix your mic
Oh,
again.
I'm sorry.
Josh left you hanging.
Sorry.
So you guys do not.
Usually not, no.
No.
Sometimes, if you bring us a skinned deer, we'll tell you no, and then the person usually complains, so we'll go out and look at it. And if it's clean, we'll take it, but we don't like to. Because
It's hard to
then
keep it clean to
it's
take
hard
it to you.
keep it clean to take it to us, and then you're jumping in line, and in gun season, that can mean 100 or more deer, because we can't just leave your deer, like if you're number 420, and we're at like, we're cutting up 300s, you're jumping ahead because we can't leave your deer.
To turn into a piece of jerky.
Yeah,
Right,
to get
if
all
you-
dried out and gross.
Yeah.
But going back to the food safety side of things, the straight disrespect for the deer. I've seen like in years past where they skinned it, threw it right in the bed of their truck with no tarp, and they brought it in, and I'm not really that nice when they do that. I'm like, that is a disgusting deer and a complete hack job, and you should preserve your meat a lot better than this. At least buy a $12 tarp to bring it in and cover it up. You just went down a dirt road.
Right. Get something to keep the dirt and the grime off your meat.
That particular one where I was like, that's a hack job. Like, you should have brought it in a tarp. They actually called the shop number, which is my cell phone, and was like, yeah, there's a guy in the back named Tim. He was very unprofessional. He told me it was a hack job, and I don't appreciate it.
Tim's
And it
like,
was,
oh, I'm going to fire him.
I'm like, you know what? Fuck Tim. This is the last time that I'm. He's done. You want him fired? He's done.
Tim is fucking fired.
I'm like, thank Jesus.
He bought a hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
Sometimes when Willie was still there, we would have angry customers come in and they'd ask for the boss or something, and Willie would just like turn his hat around and be like, okay, what's up?
Okay, I'm here.
I'm the boss. I'm the boss now.
So, am I allowed to ask about Willie? What happened?
He needed to spend more time with his family. So he is now a full-time farmer.
Hey.
He's a hay man.
I know. I remember last time we had you guys on, he was like, there's no money in hay. Nobody farm hay.
Don't do it.
There's nothing going on in the hay business.
Right. And now it all makes sense because I see him quite often on the hay page.
Yep. So we're still super good friends. Anything we can do to help each other out, we always do. We definitely miss him.
We love Willie.
So we wait for them couple nights that he's had too many bush lattes and comes bringing the deer in. It's like, oh. But the funniest thing is when he's like, you know what, Amanda? We're meant to be. We were always meant to be.
You actually are in love with me, Amanda. I'm like, oh, thank you for letting me know.
Willie's one of the funnier people I've ever met, man.
I love Willie.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it was definitely a fun opportunity to have Willie around all the time. But, you know, the corona hit and everything went to shit. So now it's just me and Amanda.
And you guys are still killing it.
Yep.
Shit.
So we'll keep doing what we do, handling everyone's meats.
But I was I was curious with the COVID thing. Like, so you guys have no shortage of help because it seems like everybody else on the planet is struggling for help.
We just kind of got lucky this year. We usually don't have enough help in deer season, and who knows? Maybe when shit hits the fan, people will not show up.
Every single year, those that say they're going to be there, it's all of a sudden like, oh, you know, Tim, you know, I got to butcher 3 chickens today. You know, I can't come in. And, you know, the next day, you think you got enough people to come in. Like, God damn it, Tim, I had a fucking, you know, a gummy, and I'm high. I can't come in.
The one guy did say he was too high to come in.
I mean, I understand that. I've had some instances with certain friends that were on shrooms and they couldn't figure out how to work a fucking vacuum sealer. It's like, I didn't say who it was, buddy.
We got this, you know, you got to work with what you got, right? So we have an employee that, he's like, I can work this day, this day, this day, if
For
the
3
wind
hours.
is right.
Wait,
I'm
he's
like,
a bow hunter.
Well, what does that mean?
Right.
Oh, well, if the,
If
you
the
know,
wind's right, I gotta go.
He's a duck hunter.
no,
no.
he's a bow hunter.
Bow hunter.
I was like, what the fuck kind of schedule is that?
What was
How
his
come-
name?
Oh, no. We like Garrett.
We like. He doesn't help us though.
He doesn't help us.
But this kid is a great worker when he's there. But he has another job and he goes to school, and he really likes hunting. And
You know,
I
the
mean,
majority
gotta
of...
just deal with it. When he
our,
comes in, it's nice to have that extra help.
Yeah, it helps to have a couple high school kids that, you know, actually want to work. Because the majority of them don't want to fucking do anything.
Right. Well, I'll tell you this. The funniest shit ever is when I was with Ryan, my buddy Ryan, dropping off a deer from deer camp. And my fiance's ex helps him out occasionally. Didn't put 2 and 2 together. We dropped off the deer, and guess who received said deer? And
that was the first and only year that he helped us.
which was it was hilarious because I kind of knew who he was.
You're like, God damn, I think that's my wiener cousin.
What are the qualifications for people to come and work with you guys?
They gotta
Show up.
They gotta be gay as fuck.
Like it in the butt.
To be gay, you just have to show up to work.
That went up my fucking nose.
There are really creepy people. Okay, so that is creepy, but I get a lot of creepy customers that like grope me. It's
What?
weird.
I
Yeah.
got fucking guys that grope me. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell is going
There's
on?
this one guy.
Nice
in
piece of meat you
particular.
got there, Tim.
He's very touchy feely.
What do you think, Tim? You think I should give snack sticks?
It's gonna snack on your stick.
I'm like, you can get whatever the fuck you want, dude. Stop fucking touching me.
Stop.
Is
Yeah.
that any recipes for balls?
This is my no-no zone.
There is one guy that really likes to touch Tim, though.
It's really weird.
Maybe you should hire him. You said they gotta be gay.
Hey, juice boy.
I'm just, as far as like cut speed and all that, and like where you place them, how do you guys figure that stuff out in the industries? Like, do they just learn and get good at it as they go, or?
It helps if we're going to have somebody that's going to help cut at the table with Tim, that they have some sort of experience.
For the most part, if they have experience in, like, say, the restaurant industry, if they've been a cook somewhere, at least they have the basics of, say, like, knife handling skills and also, like, food safety. Food safety is a huge thing because that's a lot to throw at somebody about, hey, if you pick something off the ground, you need to wash your hands and put on a new pair of gloves. If your knife falls on the ground, you need to go through that through the dishwasher. Like, there's so much stuff, like, you can't cross-contaminate, and it's really freaking hard to...
You made it worse.
We almost held hands.
Aw, you guys are gay.
It's really hard to
just the best of friends.
teach somebody all of the food safety stuff if they have absolutely no idea about that.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten somebody in that's just like good golden, like they don't drop their knife, they don't pick shit up, they're just, grab the leg and fucking the whole thing's boned out?
No.
No.
You want somebody?
Oh, no.
Generally, no offense to you, but generally the people that come in that are like, I've cut up my own deer my entire life, they...
Do it the wrong way.
No, they don't do it the wrong way. They just think that their way is the right way, and we
set in
process
their-
thousands of deer, and it's different when you're
Oh, there's
processing
ways.
your own deer. And
So you want like somebody from scratch, like you want to teach
Someone.
teach
somebody.
them. Yeah.
That's kind of
But-
what I was getting at.
There's a whole...
What do you-
That you're perfect, and
No. No, I was getting at, like, do you want somebody that has some experience or somebody that's just, like, green as hell and, hey, shut the fuck up and listen?
no, some experience is good.
Yeah, because you can always curb them, but if they're completely unteachable, then you're fucked.
It's usually
Leave.
the old guys. They are like, I cut my own deer up my entire
Okay.
life. The older guys that are like, refuse to learn. That
Well, even when
aren't
you're
good
like,
enough.
Hey, if there's a
stop-
faster way to do it, there's a
stop
faster.
cutting it to the freaking throat. They're like, well, this is how Granddaddy told me how to do it, so that's how I'm gonna fucking do it.
I tell you what, I stopped doing that last year when I had to carry a couple out. Like, I straight up 150-pound deer, just put it on your shoulders and walk out with it. She's like, fuck this. I'm not cutting it to the throat.
It's a backpack.
Blood running
So-
down everywhere.
So one of the questions on my mind, listening to you guys, is what do you guys do with it? You guys throw away the tongues, I'm sure. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
you guys kind of got to, right? You guys can't keep them.
Brent wants the tongues.
I want the tongues.
What do you want to eat them?
Mhm.
Is it?
Usually the
It's gross,
tongues,
but okay.
yeah, the state's been buying all the tongues from
Yeah.
us.
The DNR.
What?
The DNR takes the heads, which has the tongues in it. They
cut the
But
tongue,
what if
cut
what
them
if, but
out.
what if you cut them out?
maybe
Well, they don't care.
we
No.
can for our Euro mounts. We have to take the tongue out. We take the bottom jaw out.
I mean, I don't want nothing that's like
Rotten.
not fucking fresh. Like I didn't take mine out the other day, and I was like,
It gets green really quick, especially when they're like
it's closed up.
eating.
Yeah, tongues go fast.
If
oh,
I
for
if
sure,
I,
because
if
they
I
got some
don't
funky in their mouth all the time.
if I don't take it out, you skin the deer, you cut the head off. If I don't take it off right, if I don't take it out right, then fuck it.
It's fucked.
Um,
Everything's
we for our Euro mounts
Everything's
it's easy to get it done right away. So the tongues don't usually go bad, but they do get green quickly.
Especially when they got
I don't know why.
they got a
the hell we
mouthful
want
of alfalfa and corn.
Yeah, when they're eating grass is the worst. It's so gross. The corn isn't that bad. It's the grass.
The grass.
The grass is nasty and slimy and
Green
turns.
goo everywhere.
Yeah.
I,
it's
I
a
can
goop.
see that going bad
Man.
a lot faster because it's green,
So
moist.
I shot one a couple
What?
of years ago, not down the road, but there were blueberries right by where I shot this deer.
Aw.
It's like the nastiest stain you've ever seen. It's like, it's purple.
Well,
What the hell?
I'm gonna tell you this.
Okay, that
There's
makes
something about
sense.
the inside of a deer's mouth. There's nothing good about it, man.
Mm-mm.
It's creepy and weird. There's fucking, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't
like-
you compare the inside of a vagina to a deer's mouth a while back?
That was my brother.
Oh.
Who, Bob?
Yeah.
I haven't seen him this year.
Just because he ain't killed no fucking deer.
He gave up after the piebald?
No, kind of a sad story, really. Like, so that my parents' property that we used to hunt, well, my parents' neighbors,
Yep.
they sold. So we're out.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, so, but he's got his own property, but he's got his bird dog, and that's kind of been his gig this fall.
Well,
is
you've
getting his
also
bird
got
dog.
his bow, too, don't you?
I got his old bow because my
Oh.
ex fucking took mine.
Tony, I could...
Dude, we're creeping on 2 hours. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about?
Isn't, what's your last name?
Ruff, R-U-F-F.
Are you related to the other rough guy that was a processor?
Which one?
Processor?
Yeah, there was a, what the fuck was his name?
I'm not related to the barbers.
Rough.
Would that be one of the barbers, I feel like? Or related to him?
Oh, it might be.
The processor on Dillman.
They do
Dowagiac.
all their own deer. The
Dowagiac.
barber guys do all their own deer. It would make sense if
I don't
one
know.
of their dad or grandpa.
I mean, if they're related.
Why?
Man, the
would you
fucking
say?
Ruff brothers, man, they're located.
Ruff
here.
is one of the barbers, I feel like.
No, not
They're-
those.
they're
He was a
younger
deer
guys.
processor.
Just
his-
the deer processor?
He was a deer processor and a beef processor and stuff, and he actually stopped doing deer because his wife was like, deer season or me? And she was pissed off because guys were just pissing in their yard, and they would show up at all hours of the night and beat on their door and shit and be like, we got a fucking deer! And then she was freaked out, and she's like,
Dude, I can see that.
People do that to us. They have people knock on our door, like at our house, and
Oh,
it's pretty distinguished. Like, this is our house. This is the butcher shop. People. We had a woman come into our house
Oh.
and was
no.
like yelling for Tim, and I'm
This
like,
is how you get shot.
yeah. Or if my dog was out, would have attacked some random woman.
oh, for
walking around.
sure. Like, at late night when these goofy people show up, like, they're... like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning when they're dropping deer off, we all know you're drunk as shit. Like, what are you really up to? Like, we got the 40 cal on our side. Like, are you trying to fuck with us, or like
You trying to fuck on me?
You fuck on me? I'm gonna fuck on you.
Dude, that's no shit. Like,
Yeah, it's
Did you pull one on your mom?
man,
no.
I'm really winning here.
I had to be slow because I had to pee.
That was loud.
That was.
That was
So was
loud
that.
as well. I had 2 more before you got here, so we're probably tied.
I had a pickleback.
I started my day
Liar.
with whiskey.
Pickleback. Last time we were in the UP,
We ordered Irish car bombs, and the fucking bartender brought us pickleback shots.
What?
He's like, I think I fucked up. I'm like, you definitely fucked up.
How do
I'll
you
drink
what?
Time out.
What?
Picklebacks exist in the fucking UP?
Yeah, they
That's
have
it, yeah,
pickle
we-
juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
They have pickle juice.
Well, I know, but like a pickleback's an Indiana thing.
No, it's not.
Mm.
I had only
Ah,
ever
you
heard
fucking
about it.
transplant.
We asked for a Irish car bomb. We love them things. It's like chocolate milk, and they brought us pickled juice and what the fuck was it?
Jameson?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's
whiskey.
like, "Oh, I think I fucked this up." I'm like,
You
"What
definitely did.
the fuck is this?" That was
He
the first
felt-
time I ever had one.
He felt really
I drank
bad.
it. I was like,
it's fine. I like
he's
pickles.
like, "It's free." I'm like, "Well, any free liquor in the UP is fucking okay with me."
Isn't an Irish car bomb
I miss the
Guinness
UP.
with a Jameson shot dropped in it?
And
Bailey's.
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 And yeah, Guinness, and then you put it into the.
Quality.
That'll get you.
So many drunk nights from those. They make you full so fast, though.
The bad combo is if you
I
drink
got a kid.
those.
I can't do any of that shit anymore.
I had
I have
sushi and then Irish car bombs.
Oh my god.
Really
Jesus.
bad.
We were
Real
in
bad.
Illinois turkey hunting, and we went and we had so much sushi. And, well, we were waiting for my brother, and we were drinking a lot. And then we had sushi, and then we're like, you know what sounds like a good dessert is an Irish car bomb. And then Tim just, like, hardly even got out of the restaurant. He's like, I think I'm gonna puke. I was like, you're such a dick, like, raw fish and beer.
Shit, man, fuck it.
And then he was like, I feel great now. We should go do more shots.
Well, that usually clears the system. Ready to
Yeah,
go.
it's a purge.
Mm-hmm.
What's Adam always say?
I don't know.
Shit, man, fuck it. Kick your bitch in the socks. You know what I'm talking
You know what
about.
I'm talking about. Kick your bitch in the socks. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, my brother says that a lot.
Okay.
It's just what he says.
Josh, have you made any sense of that yet? Because I'm still thinking.
Kick your bitch in the socks. You know what I'm talking about. What is that from? Why does he say that?
Oh, have you ever watched music videos from Bad Baby?
Oh, the Catch Me Outside
Nope.
girl?
You know who Catch Me Outside girl
She's
is?
like
from
I know
Dr.
who she
Phil?
is,
Dr.
but
Phil?
And then now she's
Apparently,
a rapper.
she's a rapper.
but kick a bitch in her socks.
That's in
That's-
one of her songs.
That's one of her main songs. Fuck it, kick your bitch in the socks.
I'm trying to think of all the sexual positions where that's possible.
I think it just
Is
means
that supposed
stepping
to
on
be a
someone's
sexual
I don't fucking know.
thing? I didn't know it was supposed to be a sexual thing.
I mean, that's what made sense. Anyway, I think we should shut this fucking thing off. We are at 2 hours, so
America.
All right. Yeah.
America.
Who's handling your meat, bitches?
Right. Take it to Clearwater Meats, and you guys are all clear, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something
all
like
clear.
that.
Over yonder.
Just outside downtown. If my memory serves.
Just look up.
You said you've never been there. You don't
Never
even
said,
like us.
never said I've been past there. Never said I didn't like you.
You looked at us from afar?
You just drove
Well-
on by.
Was it when we were naked on the picnic table?
It was
Sometimes that
slightly
happens.
less than impressive, but you know, it made me feel good about myself.
I
You know,
stopped that.
Like
night,
we're
by the way.
brothers.
Good job.
Oh.
How did you do
way
that?
to make it weird.
I just snapped a picture from afar to keep it in my memory. Jeez, Bert.
You got a picture of Tim's ass?
Just the front, not the back.
The front of his ass?
That's
Yeah, the
last
front of his
time.
ass.
On that note, we
Think
will
that's
talk
just-
to you guys next time.
Just the balls.